Welcome back, everybody. Episode number 33 of the Plumecast for December 12th, 2021. Figured I might as well start putting a date on these things in my intro. It's been a fun week. We have the Game Awards, we had the release of Halo Infinite, and there's just some stuff to go over. I want to talk about the announcements at the Game Awards, the winners, all that kind of stuff, and the Unreal Engine 5 demo from the Matrix thing that we got and the Coalition working on it. And yeah, we're getting close to Christmas, so I'm assuming the next week or so, or the next couple of weeks, are going to be pretty dead on the news. So we might as well capitalize on what we got this week, and we'll see what comes up in the next week or so. But we have lots of games to play. So if you're new to this channel, this is your first Plume Network video. This is my weekly gaming podcast where I just talk about stuff going on within the video game industry, and I make daily content, so make sure to go check that out on my channel as well. So every single week I have a beer on the channel, and this week I have caught on camera a Belgian pale ale with apricot from Muskoka Brewery, and it is a Muskoka Brewery. We're always, well, I guess that's not what it is, but this is the description. At Muskoka Brewery, we're always dreaming of new flavors and adventurous beer styles. Our Moonlight Kettle series is passionately brewed every month by a trio of employees from across the brewery. These small batch brews are for those who crave the trail less traveled. So I don't think this is a beer you're going to be able to get all the time. It's a seasonal beer as well. It is only in certain locations. I actually went to the brewery and picked it up. So I'm going to open it up here. Taste of it. Oh, and that is a strong tasting, kind of hoppy, not too bad actually, with that kick of like fruitiness to it. It's actually not bad. It's a bit sour, which I do like sour beers now. I've realized that. I had one a couple weeks ago and I was blown away how much I like sour beers. I mean, it makes sense because I love sour tasting candies and I just love like sour in general. So it translates well into beers. So caught on camera, Muskoka Brewery. Let me know what you guys are drinking in the comments below. I always like to see the beers that you guys are enjoying and relaxing with, or, you know, having entire case. I mean, I don't condone getting too wasted, but, you know, anyways, sometimes, especially in Canada when it's cold up here, you have to take cover, relax, and stay warm with a few beers. Now, in terms of what I've been playing this week, it's been all Halo Infinite. Again, I mean, that's been the theme the last couple of weeks. I'm hooked. I can't get off of it. I'm playing multiplayer. I'm playing through the campaign. And it's so good. I mean, I got a review copy for Halo Infinite. I put up my impressions on December 6th. And like I said, it's just an incredible game. I'm doing my second playthrough now on Heroic, and I'm going and I'm literally collecting everything because the review download that you got didn't translate over. Like, you didn't get any achievements, you didn't get any progress. And so I'm restarting, but this time on Heroic, and I'm going through literally every little nook and cranny on Zeta Halo, and it's even better than when I first started playing it. Like, this is potentially one of the greatest, it may be the best Halo game in terms of the formula and just like the general like style of it. This may be up there as the top one, but it'll be up for debate for sure. Like, Halo 3 was damn incredible. So it's hard, and it's also is going to have that recency effect where people love Halo Infinite, but it's the most recent one they've played, so it's going to be a lot higher for a lot of people in their memory. But maybe they go to the Master Chief Collection, play through other campaigns, and then get a better comparison. But 343 definitely has done an outstanding job with Halo Infinite. But it's not perfect. It's obviously not perfect. People, I guess when you listen to me, you probably think I'm just like overpraising and everything. I love it. It's a great game. It's one of the best games this year. It is probably my game of the year after continuing to play it. Probably the most fun I've had playing a game this year, but there's definitely flaws to it. There's definitely stuff that needs to be fixed with the multiplayer and with the single player. Like, even just the fact that you can't restart missions and little things like that. But it's the best part about it is we knew this was going to be a game that like is going to be a work in progress, but what they delivered on release date was like an incredible experience that even without the little things in there, even without co-op launch, which is disappointing, even without Forge, even without the mission stuff, you're still having such a great fun time playing the game. And I think that alone kind of speaks to the greatness of Halo Infinite. But that's been what I've playing, and I'm probably going to be hooked on that for a while. I do want to play other stuff though. I definitely do. I've realized that I want to try out some other games during Christmas, during when I have some more free time, and I'm going to take my time more so with this second playthrough. Make sure that, and if it takes me a couple weeks to completely beat the story again, completely okay with that, because I really want to get through and find everything. So let me know what you guys have been playing in the comments below. I have a feeling it's going to be a lot of Halo Infinite, but love to hear all of the other stuff you're jumping into as well. So we'll get into the topics this week, and we're going to start off here with talking about the Game Awards. I mean, that was the biggest thing this week, so we might as well talk about that first and just talk about like stuff that was announced, the award winners, all those types of things. So actually, you know what? I'm here on the trailers, but let's look at the award winners first. So I personally, when it comes to the actual awards of the Game Awards, I don't really care too much. Like, I'm interested in seeing who wins Game of the Year, you know, just to pique my interest, just out of curiosity. I'm interested in who wins like best RPG, but I don't care who wins. I don't think it really means anything for us as gamers. Like, you're not going to always agree with the winners. You're not even always going to agree with the nominees, and it doesn't mean that the games that you think should have won or you think should be there are bad games. They may, in your point of view, be better games, right? So that's why the awards don't really matter. It's for the developers and it's for the studios that publish the, more so than the actual fans. And it's pretty obvious with the actual show that Jeff Keighley knows that. It's funny because I streamed the Game Awards, and just taking a sip there. It was like 4 hours long with the pre-show and everything. It was about 4 hours long, and it was like I was getting exhausted by the end of it. I was ready, turn it off, go to the washroom. I want to eat some food. I wanted to just kind of go to bed after it, kind of thing. But I understand why it's so long. And you see comments after where like you see like these big YouTubers, you see a lot of the blue check marks complaining about it. And when I say blue check marks, I mean like the people on Twitter who are verified. But you see them complaining, and they're saying things like, you need to focus more on the award winners and the speeches and all that kind of stuff, which theoretically is what an awards show should be. But it's obvious that the show would not exist economically if they didn't have all of those ads in there, they didn't have all of the marketing, they didn't have all the game trailers, and if it was reversed in the amount of time spent on trailers and marketing versus the amount of time spent on the actual award winners and the studios, this Game Awards probably wouldn't be around. I mean, it's been around for 8 years, and it takes a while to build it up, and I don't think we'll ever see that change for a very long time. Which, I mean, for me personally, I don't really care, because I'm there watching for the announcements, which I think most people are, to be completely honest. I think it's just kind of like you just, I don't know. It makes sense why it's so long and why there's so many trailers, because he has to get all of that ad revenue in order to get this show to be running, in order for it to be what it is. If he didn't have that, we wouldn't be having this huge spectacle that is there. And it is a big spectacle for a video game wars, although it didn't seem like there were very many people in the crowd. There were a lot of big names, but if you looked, unless there was like a huge attendance numbers that they couldn't have more than a certain amount of people, or they, for COVID related reasons, and they were spacing everybody else out, which could totally have been like that, looked pretty dead in that studio. But that was just my take on it. It's long in the tooth. I get it. I'm still happy that they do all those announcements. I can't lie. Like, some of the stuff they showed off was really cool. But let's first look here at the winners. So we'll get to the Game of the Year last. There's so many awards here, but I'm gonna skip a bunch of them because some of them are like esports and whatever. So we'll start with best debut indie game. Now this is one that I haven't played Kenny yet, but it won best debut indie game, which the game looks good, has got good reviews, so I guess there's nothing really here to complain about. The Artful Escape out of all of these is the one that I played, and I thought that was an incredible game. But I would have to say I'm okay with Kenna winning, because the Artful Escape, in my opinion, was more of a, I said this in my video of a couple of weeks ago or whenever I talked about it, it was more of a interactive experience, in my opinion, than a video game, because there wasn't that much gameplay in that game. You're just literally running left to right and jumping here and there, and then doing very easy, basic rhythm parts to the game. So Kenna Bridge of Spirits, I've never played it. I'm thinking of checking it out. I know it's on PS5 and on the Epic Game Store. I haven't touched my PS5 since Ratchet and Clank, and this may be a game I want to jump in and play at some point. Best indie game. Now this is where I get I haven't played Kenna yet, but this one kind of annoyed me just a tad. I don't really care. Like I said, I really wanted Death's Door to win this game because that's like my game of the year, or one of my games of the year. But Kenna Bridge of Spirits won that again, which makes sense. If you're winning best in debut indie game, I guess you're going to probably win best indie game as well. I don't know, but yeah, I would have loved to have seen Death's Door win. But indie games have been great. There've been so many good ones, and it seems like it's always like that. And they've been incredible, specifically on Xbox Game Pass. There are so many indie games on there that are so good, and I highly recommend checking some of them out, like the Artful Escape, like Narita Boy. Don't know if Celeste is still on there, but it was. Like, that's one of my favorite games of all time. Crimson, what was it called? I'm playing another game. It's called Flynn, Son of Crimson. I knew Crimson was in the name. I haven't beaten it yet, but from what I've played, it's a ton of fun. And there's more games coming out, like Replaced, that Shredder's game, that snowboarding game looks cool. We have Scorn, which we got an announcement for a release date that's coming out. I believe Scorn now is coming out in October 2022. So there's lots of great indie games, and I highly recommend checking those out. If you're somebody who only plays AAA games, I think you won't be disappointed checking out indie games. But we'll continue on here. Best ongoing game, Final Fantasy 14 makes a ton of sense. This game has literally taken over the world this year. When COVID started back in March of 2020, I grinded Final Fantasy 14 level 1 to 80. You didn't even need to do that. You could have bought like the expansions or whatever and the level boost and started like level 50, I believe. But I literally took that game, started level 1, grinded to level 80, which in hindsight was probably not a great idea because I got burnt out. I haven't thought about playing Endwalker, the new expansion. I may one day, because I did have a lot of fun playing Final Fantasy 14, but I literally did the worst part of the game and spent so many hours doing it, whereas the end game is like where all the fun starts, right? So it may have been a bad choice, but hey, I did that. Games for Impact. I haven't played any of these games, but Life is Strange True Colors one. Best performance, man. This one was not a surprise, but I was kind of disappointed a little bit. I would love to have seen Giancarlo Esposito win for Far Cry 6. I felt like he had more of a larger role, maybe I want to say. But Maggie Robertson did a great job in Resident Evil Village. And she won as Lady Dimitrescu or whatever her name is, and she was scary as hell in that game for sure. Like that, she was like, you would see her coming and you were running, and she did a great job for that. Best audio design, Forza Horizon 5. That's just one of the awards that Forza won. Best score and music, Nier Replicant won that one. And this is where, like, next year when the Game Awards happen, even though Halo Infinite came out on December 8th and it's going to be so long, people may forget just how amazing the audio design and the score and music is. But I really want to see Halo Infinite in these awards, and I would be surprised if anything this year comes close to that soundtrack for Halo Infinite, because it's so good. I love it. Best narrative, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. I've heard so many good things about the narrative of this game. I would have liked to have seen Psychonauts 2 win because they were nominated for a bunch of awards, and spoiler for Game of the Year, they didn't win it. They didn't win any awards, which, I mean, I guess it's the media voting and choosing the winners, but I feel like Psychonauts should have won something. I haven't played Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy yet. I got it on Black Friday, so I can't really like be upset. Maybe it is a better narrative than Psychonauts 2, but Psychonauts 2 narrative was so good and so deep, and it was so unexpected how kind of adult themed it was as you went through it. And I think that it's kind of a shame it didn't get recognized. Best game direction, Deathloop won. Best, and then we got game of the year. So Deathloop won best game direction, and then the biggest surprise of them all, and not for a bad reason, because It Takes Two won game of the year. It's an incredible game. I absolutely love it, but I just didn't see it coming. I didn't think so at all. I thought for sure they were going to give it to Ratchet and Clank. I was like 100% positive they were going to give it to Ratchet and Clank. But then as the awards ceremony went on and I saw Deathloop winning a bunch of awards, I was like, okay, for sure Deathloop's going to win. And it comes to be It Takes Two. So good for Joseph Fares and Hazelight Studios. They deserve, I can't say that they don't deserve the award. For me personally, it's not my game of the year. It's a great game. I absolutely loved it, but for me, again, not my game of the year. But they deserve it. And his speech was hilarious. He was talking about the Oscars again, and he's just a funny guy. Yeah, he's annoying when he like was talking about like the Game Pass stuff, and obviously didn't really make any sense from what he was saying, especially now because the game was in Game Pass. But seems like a good guy and a decent enough guy, I guess. And he's a funny guy. So good for him. Good for It Takes Two and all the developers on that game. So we'll move over here to the reveals and some of the stuff that they showed off of the Game Awards, because yeah, the Xbox content, there was some cool stuff, but it wasn't like nearly as big as previous Game Awards show, like when they showed off the Series X and when they first showed off Hellblade. But there were still a lot of cool announcements overall. So the first thing we'll talk about, since it's the first here on the list, was Hellblade 2. Now, this one was an in-game trailer, in-game gameplay trailer. The game is running on Unreal Engine 5, and graphically was absolutely mind-blowing in my opinion. Looked really, really good for a narrative, the way that they were telling the story, but just the graphical fidelity was the thing I think blew everybody away and caught everybody's attention. Now, it was a gameplay trailer. It was in game, but there wasn't very much gameplay that was done. You're running forward, and then you're running backwards, and you're throwing a spear at the enemy. And that was pretty much it. So I would have loved to have seen combat. I would have loved to see if they are going to like expand the gameplay from the first one. For me, here's the thing with Hellblade 2. A lot of people are excited for it, and for good reason. A lot of people loved the first game. A lot of people are looking at this trailer and are blown away by what they see graphically. But there's a comment on one of my YouTube videos, and it's a very, very fair comment. The game looks great, but gameplay wise, there's not much there right now that we've seen. And if this game is just literally like walking or running back and forth on a very, very linear path and doesn't have great gameplay to it, to me, it'll be a great showcase for Unreal Engine 5. It'll be a great showcase for Xbox Game Studios, but it isn't going to be a game that's really up my alley personally. Like, and we have to be fair, because I've talked about this and people in the Xbox community talk about it, is like a lot of PlayStation Studios games are kind of in the same vein where they focus on graphics and narrative, and it's more a movie style of a video game. And if Hellblade 2 is along those lines, it will appeal to a ton of people, and there's nothing wrong with having a game like that in the repertoire for Xbox Game Studios and within Xbox Game Pass. But me personally, it will not be one of my favorite games. I probably won't be that into it if the gameplay isn't fun. That's just it. Like, that's it for me. It's great. It'll be great to look at. I'll definitely load it up. I'll definitely play through it just to see how incredible the graphics are and how incredible the sound design, and just see what the story's all about. But it wouldn't be like a huge game for me because of that. If it's more of like a walking, simulator style of game. I'm not saying that's going to be. I'm just saying I want to see more combat. I want to see how they expand the world and all that kind of stuff. But besides that, graphically and Unreal, I don't know if a game, and no pun intended, Unreal, I'm using Unreal 5, I don't know if a game is going to match it when it comes out graphically, because we've seen how good Ninja Theory is. We see what they're doing with Project Morrow, and that's going to probably be insane as well. But I think this is a highlight for a lot of people, And for me too, it was a highlight. It was just because of how good it looked. I was blown away when I was watching this trailer. Then we got Star Wars Eclipse, and again, coming from Quantic Dream, which is really cool. So you know it has a potential to be a cool game, a good game, and you don't really know too much about it other than it's during the High Republic era. And it's great to see just more Star Wars games coming out from different developers and different studios ever since it got taken away from EA, thank God. But I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars game. I'll be looking forward to this one. I absolutely loved Jedi Fallen Order. I am looking forward to the Knights of the Old Republic remake, although it is a PlayStation exclusive. And now I'm looking forward to Star Wars Eclipse. Wonder Woman. This one was a huge surprise. Now, I'm not a big Wonder Woman fan. It's cool that they're making a Wonder Woman game. We'll see how it turns out. I hope it turns out good, but it is coming from Monolith, which has made some great games with the Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War games. Really great with combat. I gotta admit though, when they first showed this off, I was kind of sad because I've always been thinking like, when are we gonna get another Superman game? When are we gonna get another Superman game? It's been so long. And yeah, sure, Wonder Woman's cool, but I want to see a Superman game. I'll just be completely honest. But I'll probably check out this game here. Now, they talked about Tunic, and they gave us a release date for March 16th, 2022. Now, Tunic, to me, is one of my most anticipated games. Really looking forward to it. I played the demo when they put it out on Xbox, and I absolutely loved it. I loved games like this. I love Death's Door. I love The Legend of Zelda. A game like Tunic has me like 10 out of 10 excited, and we finally got a release date, and it looks great. I think it's going to be great. And again, this is another one of those indie games that when I was earlier talking about indie games, like it's a great high quality, like good music, cool graphics, great gameplay. So really excited for that. King of Fighters 15 they showed off. I guess the thing to say about this, it's coming to Xbox. I don't know if the previous King of Fighter games were on Xbox. It could have been, but I for some reason think they weren't. They showed off the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So this is a multiplayer game set in a horror universe, obviously with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So we'll see what that's all about. And a lot of these are just cinematic game or trailers, so you don't really see any play in them. Homeworld 3. This was again showed off during the pre-show. I don't know too much about the Homeworld series, but Homeworld 3 is coming out. Telltale, they're back with a brand new series called The Expanse. So if you're into the Telltale stuff, it's you'll want to check that out. Alan Wake 2. Now this one's pretty cool, especially if you're somebody who played the original Alan Wake on the Xbox 360. And we got the Alan Wake remake or remastered earlier this year, I believe. And Alan Wake 2 is coming out. Now, they're going to be moving away from, I guess, the original formula of Alan Wake. And it's going to be more of a survival horror game. Whereas the original Alan Wake, they classified it more as like an adventure action game. So that will be interesting. I'm sure graphically it's going to look great. And there's so much in that universe they can pull on. So people have been waiting for a sequel to Alan Wake, and it is finally on its way. And then we got Final Fantasy VII Remake PC finally coming over with one big caveat. That is, it's exclusive to the Epic Game Store. Square Enix is so annoying. They annoy the heck out of me. With this, they love their timed exclusivity. They're going to do anything to make that money from one single platform holder. So first the PlayStation. I don't know when this game's coming to Xbox. Who knows? And then now with Epic Game Store on PC. And you can best believe that's going to piss off a lot of PC gamers that's not on Steam. So it's kind of annoying. And you see they're doing this with like Final Fantasy 16 with the exclusivity to PlayStation and PC. And they just recently announced that they are upping the price of their games to $70. So, I mean, you can pretty much thank, I guess, sports games and PlayStation for that, as all of those games are all the $10 extra for next-gen versions. I mean, well, I'm not surprised. I'm sure we'll see more studios doing this, but hey, it is what it is. So I won't be checking out Final Fantasy VII Remake again for a very, very long time. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the movie. I loved the first Sonic. movie. I'm not gonna lie, one of my favorite movies when it came out. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is looking great as well, so excited for that. And then we got this one, which has me really, really excited, and it's Sonic Frontiers. And it just looks like the final, it looks like what people have been waiting for a long time, I think. And it's like the expansion of Sonic into an open world, like a real Sonic adventure, like an expansion of Sonic Adventure, I guess. And it looks, we'll see how it turns out. But I think Sonic in an open world, there's so many possibilities and it can be so fun, fast paced, and so much to do with it. It's kind of giving me that feeling of when we heard Halo was coming to open world. What is it going to be like? How are they going to make sure that the Sonic formula is still fun and good to play within an open world? 343 did a great job with Halo, and hopefully they do the same thing with Sonic. Basically, in the trailer, they showed off different landscapes and different biomes, I want to say, different structures, and just kind of the speed you're going to be running through the world and everything. So very excited for Sonic Frontiers. They show off some more Horizon Forbidden West, and hey, the game looks great. There's no denying that this is going to be a huge game for the PlayStation platform in 2022. Looks like a ton of fun. Graphically looks incredible, so I probably will be checking this out. I still need to play the first one, which I haven't played yet. Destiny 2 the Witch King, I'll just not too much to say about that. Slitterhead. This is hilarious because this is from the Silent Hill creator, Ichiro Toyama, and he name drops Silent Hill in this trailer, and it looks super creepy. Exactly like along the lines of a horror game that I think people are going to be very into. But yeah, I found it funny how he name dropped the Silent Hill name. Nightingale. Now this is a game that like looks very interesting. I want to just get through here into the trailer. It's like a first person shooter with fantasy elements and like giants and just a bunch of different types of characters within the game. And the world looks like it could be a very cool game to explore. A lot of different like costumes that your characters are wearing. The graphics look like they're kind of like I don't want to say cell shaded, but they're sort of cartoony / like realistic, I guess is the best way to put it. But it looks really cool. Definitely go check out that trailer for Nightingale. Showed off Gollum, showed up Somerville. We got finally the expansion for Cuphead, The Delicious Last Course. They did a really cool like singing thing on the actual stage. There's so many games here, but we're getting to one of the games that got me probably the most excited, I want to say, and I know it's an odd one, but it is Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. Now, Space Marine on the Xbox 360 was one of my favorite games on that console, one of my favorite games during that generation. I never thought they were going to make a Space Marine 2, and I'm not like a big Warhammer guy or anything. I just randomly played the first Space Marine game, and I was hooked. So when they announced here, finally, they're making Space Marine 2, I was so excited. I can't wait for this. This is a day one game for me, 100%. And you know what? It's a Warhammer game. When we see all the Warhammer games coming onto Xbox Game Pass, I would love if Xbox got this on to Game Pass, just so more people play the Space Marine series, because it's really, really fun. Then Warhammer Vermintide 2, official trailer, like I guess a expansion to it. Chia, some random PlayStation game. I mean, it doesn't look interesting at all to me, but hey, for some people it'll be good. Then we got Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad, finally, this game looks really, really cool, and it's coming from Rocksteady. We know how great Rocksteady is with combat with the Batman Arkham series, and I don't have any different expectations for this game. My one hope for this is that they don't turn this into an Avengers game, and they make sure that this is a game that has great content, great story. You can play it individually, no problem. And yeah, just make sure that combat is tight like they are known for. So that's really exciting. Show off Forspoken. This is coming to PlayStation and PC. It's another Square Enix game against Square Enix with their timed exclusivity, stupidity stuff. But hey, it is what it is. Saints Row. Now, Saints Row, the remake of Saints Row. This is a game that I think there's a big divide amongst Saints Row fans. As someone who's not like a huge Saints Row guy, I am actually quite interested in this game. I've played Saints Row before. I find it's just like mindless fun and a lot of stupidity within it. This one looks more serious, more like GTA, I want to say, in terms of the serious side, even though GTA can be really wacky too. But I'm actually looking forward to this game. I know that may not be the popular opinion when it comes to the Saints Row, but I am looking forward to exploring the world and seeing what it's all about. I'm gonna go quickly through some of these because there's so many. But they announced Dune Spice Wars. Don't know too much about that. Tiny Tina's Wonderland. We've seen that 100 times. Among Us VR could be interesting. Genshin Impact. Steel Rising, which I don't know too much about, so I'm gonna quickly go through this trailer. But it is a RPG that in like you're fighting like mechanical dogs and stuff. I'm not really sure, but check out that one. Metal Hellslinger. This is like a Doom clone with like a bunch of different metal musicians and metal music in it, so that's cool. Star Trek Resurgence. Guessing a Star Trek RPG. Oh no, sorry. This is from This is a Telltale game. So again, Telltale's back in full force. So, or from former Telltale developers. So it'll be similar to how Telltale games were. Rumbleverse, a battle royale fighting game. They showed off a Plague Tale Requiem. Now this is a day one Game Pass game, and this game from Asobo Studios. We know how great they are with graphics. Again, another game. I don't know why this video is in like a vertical phone view, but another game that just looks absolutely stunning. I'm excited for it. I want to play the first one. I haven't played the first one yet, so I think I'll jump into that before this comes out, and it is coming to Xbox Game Pass. And I believe they gave us a date, or did they just say 2022? Yeah, so 2022. Dying Light 2, they showed more off. We got the release date for Crossfire X, and it's, as I expected, early 2022, February 10th, 2022, for that single player campaign that a lot of people are interested in playing. I'm going to quickly go through here the list. There's so many things. I forgot how long this list was. But I'm going to quickly jump down here to the Halo TV show. They showed the first look trailer. I'm just pumped for this. I hope they really expand on Halo lore more, on the universe, and do a good job with developing characters and it's with Paramount Plus. So we'll see. I've never had Paramount Plus. I don't know what content they have on there and the quality of their shows. But man, I'm excited for the Halo TV show. It's a series I always thought, why didn't they make more movies and more TV shows for? Because it would be so easy to do and it would be so interesting. Start off more Elden Ring. I want to talk about Arc Raiders because this is a game that they showed off, and it's going to be a free to play game. And they say it's going to be a game similar to the vein of the Division 2. I absolutely loved the Division 2, played so many hours of it with my wife. We may jump into this too, and it's coming from former EA boss Patrick Soderlund. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. It looked really cool. It looked very, very, very cool, gameplay wise and everything. So I hope it ends up being good. PUBG, it's a free to play. Lost Ark, Persona 4. And I think that's pretty much all I'm going to talk about because there's so many. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, I do want to end on this. Have a Nice Death. This is another game, side scroller, like action game that looks so good. So make sure to check out that trailer if you're interested in that kind of stuff. But overall, as I was saying at the beginning of this show, this part definitely went super long, me talking about all the games. I didn't realize how many announcements there were again until going over it. This is what the Game Awards is. It's announcements, because if they don't have announcements, they're not going to make enough money to be able to run this show and have it be the extravaganza that it is and have it be on the level of like bigger award shows out there. So I understand why it's like that. I guess the comeback to that is people don't need the music. People don't need the random things that they add in there that aren't about video games. Most people don't care about that. But because they're trying to make it Hollywood, right? And I agree. Like, I couldn't care less if they didn't have those bands. They didn't have Sting singing a song at the beginning, right? Could not care less about that. But they want to go that way. They want to make it Hollywood. For it to be Hollywood, they're gonna have to do it and make super long like this, which ends up them not focusing more on the developers and the people who made the games. So I don't know. It's like a mixed bag, and if you love just seeing trailers and reveals, which I do, then you're fine with it. Even though it's long, it'll be shorter, but you're okay with it because of that. That's kind of how I feel on it. But you see a lot of people complaining, which, I mean, it makes sense. It's 4 hours long. Like, that's the thing. So I'll move over here to the Matrix thing that we got, the Unreal Engine 5 example or gameplay demo that we got. So this was announced at the Game Awards as well, where you could just jump in right after and play it. And you can download on your Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S. It's an incredible experience. The gameplay, there isn't like crazy gameplay in it or anything, but it just, again, it's another graphical mind-blowing thing. And it's we're finally getting a glimpse into moving that bar up further to what we have right now graphically. Right now we have games with amazing graphics, but I don't think we've really seen a big leap forward in a decent amount of time from the great stuff we have right now. And I think Unreal Engine 5 could be that, from what we're seeing here from this Matrix thing, from what we're seeing from the Hellblade trailer and all that kind of stuff. So you can go download it on your Xbox Series X and S. But the interesting thing about all this stuff is that the Coalition was one of the studios that helped create this experience. And as we know, the Coalition has been using Unreal Engine 5 in like early access for a long time now. And you look at Gears, and you look at how amazing Gears of War 5 is in terms of how it looks, and that's on Unreal Engine 4. But with Unreal Engine 5, they're going to be able to do so much more. They're going to be able to take Gears graphically to the next level. And a lot of people don't, I mean, people do, but a lot of people just kind of forget how good looking Gears 5 is. I think Gears 5 is still one of the best looking I want to say next generation because they updated it for next gen, but one of the best looking games right now you can get across anything: PC, Xbox, PlayStation. And I think the Coalition has some of the most highly skilled developers when it comes to graphics, because it's incredible what they've done with that. You go load that game up right now, you'll be blown away at how good it looks. And you won't think you would think that game just came out. But they helped work on it, and basically what they did was they helped optimize the CPU cores, the memory. They added the ray tracing optimizations and the performance optimizations and all that kind of stuff, and made sure that the demo was running well with both the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S. And what's super impressive is that the Series S version of this Unreal Engine 5 demo has ray tracing reflections, has ray trace shadows, and all that kind of stuff. So it's very encouraging, I guess you could say, that they kind of already know as a developer what they have to do to be able to get Unreal Engine 5 on working with games, and then getting these games to look great, even if you're on the less powered console, which is the Xbox Series S, which I think will be very important going forward. Yes, there will be lower resolutions and the frame rates may not always be the same, but you're still going to get a lot of these features that are available to the Series X on the Series S. And like I said, I highly recommend just going to check out this thing, because you will be blown away. And the Coalition with Gear 6, think about how insane Gear 6 is going to look. If they're working on this stuff here, Gears 5 already looks amazing, and they're able to utilize like their expertise with the amount of time they've had hands-on with Unreal Engine 5 and put that into Gear 6. Think about the world we're going to get in the next Gears of War game. I just can't wait to see that. But yeah, you can download it now, like I said, and there's like a shooting part to it where you're shooting at tires, and there's a comparison, not within the game, I don't believe, but the section where you're driving and you're shooting out the cars is right back to the game that came out on the PS2. Like, they took literally the same thing, and it's just cool how you can kind of visualize that jump from the PS2 era to what we have now with Unreal Engine 5. So I'll just leave that there, and we'll end off today's show with the community questions. So every week on usually like Wednesday or Thursday, I put out a community post asking if there's any specific topics or questions you want me to cover on the Plumecast. And they can just even be questions about me. I mean, if they're not too crazy personal, I'll definitely talk about it. But also just if there's any specific topics within the news you want me to go over, let me know. But so we have, I think, like 3 questions here, maybe 4. Yeah, so we'll start off here with one from Live Phoenix 2332. And he says, is testing out a new beer every week a Canadian thing? At first, I thought it was a you thing, but then I saw another Canadian YouTuber do it. Anyways, love the channel and content. Keep it up. So thanks for the question, Live Phoenix. I don't know if it's a Canadian thing. I don't know. Like, I just randomly started doing it. I didn't really see anybody else do it before I did. But it could be. I mean, in Canada, we love beer. It's cold up here. We have to stay warm in the winter. But yeah, I don't know if it's a Canadian thing specifically. I know just for me personally, I enjoy drinking beer, and the craft brewery scene around where I am within like 5 hours and even way closer has just completely blown up. So there's so many different types of beers that I get within my beer store, and it's always fun just trying out new flavors. So yeah, I don't know. But I mean, hey, again, Canada, we love beer. Our beer is stronger than American beer. It's better than American beer. No offense to all my Americans out there, but Canadian beer is significantly better. And I know I've tried lots of American beer, but Canada has you guys beat on that one. I'm just gonna leave that there for the comments. We'll move on here. Effectively, Russian Revolution on Eastern Europe, or just some Xbox stuff. Up to you, really, dude. And that's from Spam Wand. Spam Wand? Yeah, Spam. I can't read sometimes. Spam Wand. My lips move faster than my brain. Yeah, well, I've talked about Xbox stuff all show, so thank you for tuning in, and thanks for even just commenting on the post. And then we have Lost Forever Plays asking what new back-compatible games we can buy in store. I can't find any except doing a search. Well, if you go here, there is the Xbox backwards compatible list, and you can click like original Xbox, Xbox 360, then Xbox One games, and these are all games that are available for you to purchase or buy discs for and put them into your console. Now, this is just xbox.com, or if you just type in Xbox backwards compatible list, it'll show right up on Google. And you're going to, any of these games that you want to buy disc for, or any of these games you want to look up in the Xbox store, you're going to be able to play those games. Well, back here to the questions. Next one, again from Lost Forever Plays. Why does Satya Nadella, I think he's Satya Nadella, I think that's who he's trying to say, said Halo Infinite was the last in the series. Did he say that? I don't remember him saying that, but I know Halo Infinite, they're saying it's going to be like a 10-year project or something, or a very long project, which makes a lot of sense because they're just going to be using the Halo Infinite title and gameplay base to continue to add content on there, and they may upgrade everything in that game, and it's an incredible foundation. Halo is in a yearly game. Halo is in a game that is around for 2 or 3 years. Like, look at the last time we got Halo 5, right, in 2015. It's a game that is here for 5 years plus, and I think Halo Infinite will be even longer than that. Like, Halo Infinite will, I wouldn't be surprised if in 10 years from now we're still playing Halo Infinite with just updated story content, more multiplayer stuff, and like that. And I'm completely fine with that. I don't want them releasing a Halo game every couple of years. Like, I don't mind that they give us amazing foundation and continue to build on that. I don't want it to become like a Call of Duty style of thing. And then we have the last question here from Zuko. What's your game of the year? Well, my game of the year previously was, I would say, Death's Door, and then in the running was Psychonauts 2. I really also loved Far Cry 6. But I give it to that store. I love that game. I love those Zelda style games, and I had like had like really good combat and everything. But after playing Halo Infinite, I've already played it for like 50, 60 hours, which I know it's a lot of time, but it's not a lot of time compared to some people who have put in like way more time than that. But for me, with everything I have to do, putting 50 to 60 hours in a game in under a month, to me, like, it's a lot. It's like, for me personally, that's a lot of hours. And the amount of fun I'm having, and how I just don't want to leave the world, and I love everything about that game right now. I honestly would say my game of the year is Halo Infinite. It just really is. The multiplayer is so much fun, and the campaign is incredible. My biggest downfall with Halo Infinite right now is just the lack of co-op, because my wife is playing it as well. And we're always just like I'm up here on my monitor, she's downstairs on the big TV. I'm just like, we go down after playing a couple hours, like, man, how much more fun could this be? It's already incredible, but like, think about how much fun it would be if we could play this together right now. That's my only downfall with the game, personally. I honestly would give it to Halo Infinite. I'm a huge Halo fan. I think 343 did a great job with the story, with the open world, and the foundational gameplay is 10 out of 10 for me. So I'm going to wrap that up there. Thank you guys for the questions. I really love when you guys ask me questions. It just makes it interesting for me, and hopefully it makes it interesting for you. But that's it. That's going to be Plumecast episode number 33. Again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for all the support. Keep your eyes and ears open for the daily content, daily Xbox content coming up this week. We're getting close to Christmas time, and I don't know what I'm going to be doing. If I'm going to be still releasing videos, depending on what comes out. I may take a slight break, but we'll wait and see what happens. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for another week of awesome support, and I will catch you in the next video and catch you next week. Bye.